we take on sports fan entertainment as the Philadelphia Eagles defeat the New York Giants 24-19. And, you know, for the New York Giants, this is a disappointing loss. You had a chance to clinch a playoff berth, but really, when you look at the scenarios for which the Giants will not make the playoffs, you really don't buy that those are going to happen. This Giants team will be in the playoffs, but, you know, you wanted to keep your winning streak going, go into the playoffs 12-4, having won 7 or 8 straight games or whatever it was going to be, and have a feeling that, hey, we can go on a Super Bowl run, and you still can certainly do that, but this loss hurts. You know, you went to Philly, where teams have had troubles this season winning, and you just came out flat, and really you couldn't get out of that poor start you got yourself into. Eli Manning. You know, I look at this guy, and this is a guy that has 2 Super Bowl rings, which is 2 more than I will ever have. But right now, I can't trust this guy, and I'm sure a lot of Giants fans are feeling the same way. This is one of those weird circumstances where Eli Manning is one of the weaknesses of this football team. He dropped back 63 times today, which is a lot, which is too much. But he threw 3 interceptions, all of which were his fault, all of which I can't defend, all of which I don't know what the hell he was thinking, okay? You're talking about throwing a ball, trying to force a ball to Will Tye on 2 occasions, I believe. I think the first interception was intended for Will Tye. This is a tight end that is not known for being a receiving tight end, not known for being a tight end that you can trust, that you can try to force the ball into, and that he's going to make a play for you. And even if he was a tight end like that, even if it was Gronk or Jimmy Graham or, you know, a great tight end, no tight end is coming up with these passes, because this guy is just throwing the ball thinking that, oh, it's okay, there's no linebackers, there's no defensive back there, no one's going to intercept this pass that I am throwing. And then the ball just sits there, and then Malcolm Jenkins got one, returned it for a touchdown, and then the other time someone else got the interception. I don't know, but either way, I don't know what Eli Manning was thinking on these interceptions. I mean, these were terrible interceptions. I don't know what's going through his brain. I can't trust Eli right now. When you look back at those Super Bowl runs, you know, they were with Eli being a little bit of a game manager, but you knew that he wasn't going to lose the game for you. He wasn't getting fumbles. He wasn't getting too many interceptions, but he's turning back into that Eli. He didn't start out this season like this, but he's turning into this Eli that we've seen, and it's really such a shame because this Giants team, they're starting to find a run game. Paul Perkins ran the ball pretty well today, had a huge 20-yard run when they're backed up in their own end zone. You saw him had a number of runs for key first downs. Also, you also saw Rashad Jennings getting involved in the run game, getting some first downs and some other plays as well. So this running game is starting to form itself. You look at the receiving core, Odell Beckham Jr., we know that he's great. He had 150 receiving yards tonight. That is absolutely spectacular on 11 receptions. I mean, that is just absolutely tremendous, but on 20 targets, which is too much. But hey, you know, that's the way their offense works. Whatever. You look at Victor Cruz. Even Victor Cruz did something tonight as he had 8 receptions for 84 yards. I mean, I didn't think they were going to get anything out of Victor Cruz heading into the season, but it seems to be healthy again, seems to be doing stuff again, so that's nice to see. Sterling Shepard had 7 receptions for 61 yards. So, I mean, everyone kind of pitched in today except for Eli. And defensively, yes, there were issues, right? They had another big play that they let up. I mean, for some reason, every week, or at least every other week, they have to let up one big play. They have one big play where they didn't know what they were doing back there, where they collapsed defensively. You have to look at their free safety. I'm not sure who it is, but every time this guy is not in the right position when I look at these big plays, I can't remember his name right now, not Landon Collins, that's their strong safety, but their free safety. You have to look at this guy and say, dude, where are you? Because every single week we're getting killed by a big play where you should be. All right, so they have to fix that defensively, but outside of that, you know, they didn't get much of a pass rush today. They did get some pressure. Okay, I want to say that. I mean, they did get Olivier Vernon, who I will actually defend him on this play. He was trying to sack Carson Wentz, and they threw a horrible penalty. And by the way, the New York Giants tonight had to go up against the referees. They had to go up against the officials, as I felt it was clear that the officials were on the Eagles' side tonight. Honestly, I do. I'm not a Giants fan or anything like that. But you're talking about only 1 penalty called on the Philadelphia Eagles tonight. You're talking about 2 horrible calls. One was this Olivier Vernon roughing the passer call where, hey, referees, look, His head is now back behind Carson Wentz's head, or behind Carson Wentz's back. He doesn't know what's going on at that point. He doesn't know that Carson Wentz has already thrown the football. You can't throw the flag there. The guy is 250 pounds, defensive end. You can't throw a flag there. His head was behind Carson Wentz as he was getting him down to the ground. He didn't know that Carson Wentz had thrown the football yet. Horrible call. And then you saw Carson Wentz sliding on a play, and Eli Apple touched this man with one hand, and his chest just tapped him. The most gentle tap you will ever see in a football game. I mean, you will never see a tap as gentle as Eli Manning placed on Carson Wentz. I mean, it was like Jesus Christ himself touched this man. I mean, I've seen priests that are much harsher when baptizing than Eli Apple was on this play, and yet they still called an unnecessary roughness on this play. So the Giants were against the referees tonight, but they didn't get much of a pass rush, and they didn't get a sack. Romeo Okwara, who is starting in place of Jason Pierre-Paul after having a great couple of weeks, he really didn't show up today. I didn't see him today. Damon Harrison did show up in the run game, as did Landon Collins, but none of them got a sack. None of them got a fumble, forced fumble or anything like that, which you would have liked to have seen. And, that's the only thing I have to say about this defense today. Just that big snafu that they had to have every week where they just let someone run by them. And then you're wondering where the free safety is, and no one knows where he is. And the fact that they couldn't get consistent pressure and just get sacks. You got pressure, but get sacks. Sacks matter. Sacks kill drives. Sacks, you could force fumbles or whatnot. Get sacks. Sacks matter. And that's one of my problems with Olivier Vernon when you look at his career. I know this year he has 8.5 sacks, but the season's over. Okay, the season's over, and you're paying this guy $17 million a year to get 8.5 sacks per year? I don't think so. He needs to be over 12 sacks to me, at least 10, and he's not going to have that. Okay, the season's over. So that 8.5 sack total, it will be his. Maybe next week he gets 1 or a half a sack, but his sack total is what it is now. You look at the Philadelphia Eagles. I guess you're happy, right? You've been trying to win, desperately trying to win a game for the past 5 weeks, and you failed. Tonight, you get a victory, okay? And last week, you could have got one, but you failed on a 2-point conversion. Carson Wentz today. I was impressed with Carson Wentz. And, lately his accuracy has been shoddy. Tonight, I thought it was pretty on point. Now, his interception was unfortunate, but he will learn from this interception. I mean, it is such a rookie mistake. He was just scrambling, trying to make a play. He saw an open wide receiver, and he threw it, thinking that, oh, my arm has gotten away with it in high school. It's gotten away with it in college. Watch as it gets away with it again. Not in the NFL. Their closing speed of these defensive backs are way too quick, and he got intercepted. But beyond that, he played a good game to me. He was smart. He didn't try to force the issue too much, although there was a little bit of that, but he used his legs, got out and running. And once the Eagles can actually build a semblance of a passing game, I'm looking at you, Doug Peterson, the offensive coordinator, once they can actually build a semblance of a consistent passing game that consists of short to intermediate to deep routes, of wide receivers running different depths and different routes, and actual creativeness and innovativeness offensively, Carson Wentz will be freaking good. But right now, this offense stinks, okay? Their wide receivers did nothing today. Nelson Aguilar, I know he had a touchdown, but he had a horrible drop. Dorial Green-Beckham had one very nice catch, but then he disappeared. Jordan Matthews, who was supposed to be, some would argue the number 1, I would argue the number 2, he didn't do anything tonight. So the wide receivers, they're terrible, and as a result, this Eagles passing game stinks, and they can't move the ball consistently short, intermediate, deep. They can't do it. They just don't know how. There's no semblance of a plan, of a strategy, of a game plan. The only thing they have is Darren Sproles, who can make some plays, dog. So keep him. But man, what are they doing in the passing game? Can y'all figure something out? Just no plan, no strategy. Just a bunch of guys running around. They gotta figure something out. But Carson Wentz, I like Carson Wentz. I still like him a lot. I like him a lot. He makes his mistakes, but I think anyone that, like some stupid Eagles fans that are saying, well, I'm not sure if he's the god. I think he's overrated. He's not that good. He's a bust. You guys are clowns. You can't see the traits. You can't see the things that you need to see. Trust me, I'm a Tennessee Titans fan. I've seen plenty of quarterbacks over the last 10 years. I've seen Vince Young. I've seen Kerry Collins. I've seen Jake Locker. And most importantly, I've seen Marcus Mariota. And let me tell you, he ain't Marcus Mariota, but he's a lot closer to Marcus Mariota than Jake Locker, than Vince Young, than Kerry Collins. Okay, so you're in good hands in Carson Wentz. This is the process that you must trust with Carson Wentz. But once you actually build a semblance of a passing game strategy, he will be good, and ultimately, you will be good. Defensively, you love the play by Malcolm Jenkins. Leotis McKelvin didn't play great, but yeah, he played pretty terrible, honestly. You look at Nolan Carroll, he had the big stop at the end, which, by the way, should have been a pass interference. I mean, that Sterling Shepard play, where the pass was intended for Sterling Shepard, and Nolan Carroll broke it up. Nolan Carroll was interfering on this play. I can't believe that they did not call a pass interference on this play. I understand this is 4th down, this is the 4th quarter, but you must call a pass interference on this play. I don't know what they're thinking, and this goes on to my case that the referees were on the Eagles tonight. I mean, it was bad. I don't care, because I don't care about either one of these teams, to be quite honest with you, but let's be honest. The Eagles had the referees tonight. Only one penalty called on the Eagles tonight, and this should have been a penalty. Oh, dear God, it should have been called a penalty on Sterling Shepard. So ultimately, the Eagles win a game. They're 6-9. They're 5-2 at home, and you're encouraged by the season, I think, because I only had you guys going, I believe, 4-12 this season, and I don't regret that prediction, by the way, because I think it's been pretty damn right. I mean, you got a little lucky early in the season, but I think you've been a 4-12 team, honestly, but with a little bit of luck here and there, and, you know, some things that have gone your way. So I don't regret that prediction. I think it's pretty close. If I get a prediction within 2 games, I don't regret. And you're going to lose next week to me, unless if Dallas doesn't care, and they probably won't. So maybe you'll win, okay? But I think my prediction was pretty good. I think you've been a 4-12, 5-11, 6-10 team. So I don't regret that prediction. Next week, you guys face Dallas, and we'll see if they actually play the Prayers. If they don't, you will win that game probably, and you'll go 7-9, right? And it doesn't matter, because you guys don't even have your draft pick. This is one of the rare circumstances where I'm like, hey, you suck, but try to win games anyway, because you don't have your draft pick. You have nothing to lose, literally. All you're doing is sitting back and hoping that the Minnesota Vikings lose because you have their draft pick. By the way, great trade by Howie Roseman. So go ahead, go win next week, and go into next season with some momentum and compete for the NFC East next year. As for the New York Giants, you guys should make the playoffs. You guys should probably be in the playoffs by the end of this weekend. I mean, it is such a nightmare scenario that has to happen for the Giants to miss the playoffs at this point. So I'm still, I have in pen, I have it in Sharpie, the Giants in the playoffs as the 5th seed. I even have it. Next week, you guys go up against the the Washington Redskins in Washington, which would prove to be a difficult matchup because they're going to be playing for a playoff spot as long as they beat the Bears this week. So if you need to win that game to make the playoffs, you guys are in a little bit of trouble, I'll be honest with you, but you guys should get it done. I think tonight, I'm not blaming you guys too much. I haven't lost any faith in the Giants, although I didn't have much faith to begin with. Not like I have them winning the Super Bowl or anything like that, but it's a divisional matchup. It's in Philly. I've seen team after team after team after team go to Philly and lose. Okay, I don't know why, but they just suck you into Lincoln Memorial Field, whatever they like to call it. They suck you into EDP's belly. Okay, you get jumbled up in there and you lose the game. All right, that's what happens when you face the Philadelphia Eagles. And it's a divisional matchup, and I don't care. You also outgained this team. The Giants outgained the Eagles today, I think, by almost 200 yards. They had like 470 yards. And this is a Giants team that hasn't been able to move the football consistently lately, right? So it's just Eli Manning's interceptions, the poor start, and a divisional matchup in Philly that just kind of tripped you up. But I wouldn't lose any faith in the Giants. If you have them going to the Super Bowl before this, have it after, right? If you didn't don't, right? I think there's nothing really to conclude from this game that we have not concluded already. So there you go. Those are my thoughts on the Thursday night football game between the New York Giants and the Philadelphia Eagles. What are yours? Comment down below. I want to know. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, and most importantly, to subscribe. And until next time, this has been the MJ Take on Sports Fan Entertainment, and I'm out. Peace.